Hey, what's up guys? It is the Slifer Slacker back at it again with a combo video. This is for my Neos update. So this is going to be a combo video that focuses on, specifically on Shining Neos Wingman, part of Wake Up, Cosmo Neos, and potentially Nebula Neos. I'm going to be getting out Infernal Rage. Going to be using Sunrise as well, and I may be utilizing the OG Flame Wingman. But for right now, I'm going to leave those kind of right there. I'm going to do a little bit of a test hand here. So let's flip over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. I just shuffled this puppy up. So basically, I'm going to show you guys how I'm playing the deck. I'm playing the deck in mind with ending on the trap, a couple monsters on board, and then summoning him out for interruption, summoning out Cosmo Neos for interruption, summoning out Nebula Neos for interruption, and the next turn, disrupting my opponent's plays. And then next turn, I'm trying to do something else in order to, win the game. So basically, I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to start off with the Shining Neos Wingman and kind of go from there. So first, because we have Engage, we can go for Engage and go for Grand Mole. I'm actually going to set these guys over here. They should still kind of be in view. I'm going to send those two to grave, and then from deck, I'm going to send my copy of Shadow Mist. I'm going to go ahead and get out into our Spirit of Neos. Spirit of Neos is going to activate. We are going to have a couple things happening here. Engage is going to grab us a poly, and then I'm going to go Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. I like to get in the habit of using the Spirit of Neos first, unless I have enough in my hand. Like, for example, here, I didn't draw anything that was a Spirit of Neos search target. If I did, I may go Chain Link 1, Shadow Mist, Chain Link 2, Spirit. Just kind of value what I need, and then if one gets, ashed, which it can happen where he can get Veilered and she can get ashed. It does happen, but it's not as likely. It can happen though, but nonetheless, we would then go ahead and use her effect to search for a Liquid Soldier, and then Chain Link 1 would be the Spirit to grab. I would go with something like Instant Contact. You can do that. Because this deck is all about setting up for turn 1, getting resources, and then in turn 2, OTKing. Well, I guess turn 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to use Spirit's effect, flop him back to deck, get out into our Neos. Now, if you had, if you had Avion in hand or Burstinatrix, you wouldn't have to do this. Or if you've decided to nix the Avion or Burstinatrix and just play double Neos, you can do that as well. It's just kind of nostalgic for me, so I'd rather play them than not. But what's going to happen is I would go Chain Link 1 and then Chain Link 2 on the Liquid Soldier. Because if you happen to draw the trap and you've used him as Chain Link 1, you can pitch the trap and then just get it back with him, and then you don't have to worry about discarding something that you would have needed. So I would actually go that and then use his effect to go ahead and grab the trap. After I grab the trap, a couple things are going to happen. First, I'm going to use his effect to pop himself and go out into a Sunrise, use Sunrise's effect to grab a Miracle Fusion. Okay. Wow, that's a pretty solid group of cards here. What I would do next is I would use this E-Call to grab for a second Spirit of Neos. Being that I don't believe I normal summon because I started off with Engage, I would go for Rota. Could have actually pitched that off at some point and grabbed Crosskeeper, but I'm going to go Stratos, normal Stratos, and then Stratos to grab the Blaze Man. And then I would set the trap and end my turn. Now, my opponent's going to go ahead and start their turn. I'm going to wait and be patient like a intelligent Yu-Gi-Oh player. I'm not just going to activate this at the drop of a hat. Now, had I had enough material for the Cosmo Neos, which I probably could have with this hand, I chose not to because I wanted to show off him. Next hand we'll do Cosmo Neos, and then the last hand we'll do Nebula Neos. Because this deck's just that consistent. I can just tell you I'm going to do that and it'll work because my decks are consistent as hell. But anyway, I would wait until either right before battle phase, or you can, like, if you know your opponent's deck and you know, okay, if I go now, okay, I'm going to hit a choke point, I'm going to do this. Let's say, you know, let's do that. So I'm going to go activate that. He goes back to deck. He goes back to deck. I'll throw him in there. He gets summoned. Okay. Now we're going to pretend worst case scenario. Everything dies. My opponent found a way to nuke my entire board. Whatever. Okay. Wait for battle phase. Spirited Neos. So I'm saved. I'm going to use his effect to grab a Neos fusion. Okay. Actually, I lied. Psych, I lied. Because I actually, in this deck, cut down to one Shining Neos Wingman, I completely forgot that if I would have done it the way I was going to do it, I wouldn't have a second one in extra deck. So I lied. I'm going to use Ian Shuffle. My turn's going to start. And I draw Ian Shuffle. All right, what is what it is. So basically what I'm going to do is I could use Spirit's effect. If I didn't have a Spirit on board, I could just go Ian Shuffle. I could actually use his effect to go into Neos and then summon him back out. But what I'm actually going to do is normal summon an Avion and then go Ian Shuffle. I mean, obviously you got to do it because he's on the fucking picture. But so you're going to send Avion back to deck, and you're going to go ahead and summon out your other Spirit of Neos from deck. Use his effect to grab the Neos Fusion. You are then going to look at your graveyard. You're going to return him to the extra deck. Him meaning Shining Neos Wingman, in case you missed that. And then you're going to go ahead and return a Neospatian to deck. You're going to banish the Ian Shuffle. And then you're going to shuffle up your deck and draw a card. Draw a card. Okay. So now I want to keep this kind of minimalist because there's like 9,000 routes I can go. But what I would normally do is I would go Miracle Fusion, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So that way I know I'm at least getting 4,000 damage off of him. So he's got 4,000 burst damage as well. So that basically means when he attacks, he has Flame Wingman's effect. I call it burst damage. I feel like that's kind of like the nomenclature for it. Burst damage will attack, and then, or he will attack, and then the attack of the monster will be deducted from your opponent's life points. So you attack something in attack mode. He's basically doing 4,000 damage. Next, I'm going to go Instant Contact. Bring out OG. Then I'm going to go Neos Fusion. Sending Mans from deck. Send these two to grave. And then I'm going to get that Shining Neos Wingman out that I just recurred. And we're going to have 1, 2. We're going to have 2 in grave, so that puts him at 3,900. And because we don't like losing by 1,000, flip into attack. And then 1, 2, 3. Bam, GG. If your opponent survives your first turn and then your resource grab, good, you know, they out-resourced you. Good for them. It happens. Sometimes it can make you mad when it happens, but it does happen. Sometimes your opponent can outpace you, out-resource you, because this isn't the best deck. It's Neos. It's fun as hell. It is very capable, but it is not by any means a meta deck. So what we're actually going to look at next is we're going to try to get into the Cosmo Neos or Nebula. So I'm going to look at this hand, and we're going to see what routes we can take, because That's actually not too bad. Okay, let me think. I can do a couple things here. I can normal the mist. And shuffle the mist. Yeah, so this one's going to be fairly easy. I'm going to normal the mist. I'm going to shuffle the mist. Put her back in the deck. That's going to give me access to Spirit. Spirit's going to give me access to Engage. And there's no editing in this video too, by the way, so that way if anybody says, oh, you edited it so that way you could get the hand that you wanted. Absolutely not. I shuffle when my deck's just that consistent, so that's just the way it goes. I would activate the Rhoda, getting that Shadow Mist right back to my hand. Keep shuffling on camera here, that way nobody can say Jack. We're going to go ahead and shuffle. Doing that, I'm going to pitch from my deck the Aqua Dolphin. Actually, you know what? No, we're going to keep the Aqua Dolphin. We're going to pitch the Dark Panther. We're going to summon out the Aqua Dolphin, and then off of Shadow Mist effect, we're going to grab the Stratos, because I didn't normal summon yet. Oh, I forgot I got to get Poly. So I'm going to get Polymerization because of the Engage. All right. Now, we're going to do a couple things here because it would just be intelligent to do so. I can hit a starter out of my opponent's hand. I can hit a potential Nibiru, whatever. I'm going to go for Aqua Dolphin. I'm going to pitch our favorite contact. You're probably thinking, why would you do that? You only play one. You'll see why in a second here. I'm going to normal out the Stratos. Use Stratos' effect to get to my Liquid Soldier. I am then going to go ahead and bump my camera. Use Spirit to go back into the deck and summon out a Neos. Poly between Liquid and Neos. Making, where's he at? Making New Wingman. I'm going to go Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. I'm going to draw 2 cards, and then I get to discard 1. I'm actually going to discard the Crosskeeper. So that way I could basically get a draw for free, and then I keep the Hero List for follow-up. And then Chainlink 1, I'm going to grab that back. I'm going to use his effect to basically nuke himself, summon out Sunrise. Sunrise will get my Miracle Fusion. And then I believe Crosskeeper would activate. Let me see how that would go. Hold on, because I'm going so quickly. I'm trying to think of how it would go in game. So basically, summoning out Sunrise would be Chainlink 1, and then Crosskeeper's effect would be Chainlink 2. So then you would basically draw 2 cards and then search the Miracle Fusion. Now, if that's activated to Chainlink 2 and this is Chainlink 1, you can do the same deal. You can send the Neos, or the Miracle Fusion back to deck, and then when this Chainlink 1 goes off, you can search it right back. So, kind of glad that I did that so I could showcase that, because it's same with Favorite Contact. The only thing is, and it sucks, I wish Sunrise does not search from grave, you search this from deck only. So if you happen to get this card in the graveyard, if you're only playing 1, it's bye-bye. I really wish they would give us some way to recover that, but we have yet to get that. Alright, so basically looking at this now, I would simply set the Favorite Contact, and I could end my turn, or since I didn't use Crosskeeper's effect, I could get 1 into the grave, and then just recur something. So if I want to like just recur this Shadow Mist just to kind of have stuff on board, I can. During my opponent's standby phase, I would activate the Favorite Contact, sending 1, 2, 3, 4 cards back to deck. And then I would get out my Cosmo Neos. Now, because we're going to activate Crosskeeper's effect, you need to make sure you do Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, because if not, nothing can activate or respond to this activation. So if you do this Chainlink 1, you can't activate this. So I would go Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. That would draw me 2 cards, and then I put 1 back into my deck. Because I'm probably going to have a board next turn, I'm going to go a Hero Lives, send that back. and then the favorite contact can go there. So, looking at our hand, looking at our board, again, we have a pretty decent setup here. Even if my opponent was to attack, odds are they're not going to get anything big enough to attack over the Cosmo Neos. They may attack this Shadow Mist. If they do, you can get a Spirit of Neos. Let's just go for sake of argument, they wipe our whole board. Okay, they wipe everything. I'm talking everything. So I'm actually going to use Shadow Mist effect to grab a Spirit. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, I'd be able to use that Spirit. Say they didn't even battle that phase. I don't know. Let's just, you know, I always try to play worst case scenario. Helps. Honestly, that helps build your deck, and that helps kind of you prepare for a lot of things if you're playing worst case scenario. If you're playing best case scenario, you're always going to win. But I'm going to play worst case scenario. I lost everything. So what do I do now? Luckily, this deck is really good on resources. And if you are really good on resource management, you'll know what to do. So, I could summon out Stratos. It doesn't really matter here because, again, at this point, I'm kind of just trying to bait my opponent into hitting the Stratos so that way nothing else gets hit. I'd go with the Miracle Fusion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I have 3 fusions. I want to make sure that everybody's crystal on how Wake Up works. This card gains attacks on monsters for each fusion monster used as its fusion material. Now, a lot of people have been asking, if you use favorite contact to summon him out, does he get the attacks? No. At that point, you're sending them back to the deck for cost. They are no longer fusion material. Miracle Fusion specifically says to fusion summon. That would indicate that you're using fusion material to summon him. So I've got 5 material, 3 fusions, gives him 3 total attacks. Okay, then after I do that, I would go instant contact, summon out my wingman. I would go Neos Fusion. Where are we at? Oh, right on top. Okay. 3 attacks at 4,000. 1 attack at 1, 2, 3, exactly 4,000. And then 1,800. So if my opponent survives this, GG, you out-resourced me. Good job. If he does, we have a Spirit of Neos for next turn. So we can kind of try to just recover and then gain back some of our resources that we lost. So guys, the very last one here I want to show you is Nebula Neos. And then I'm going to do an ARM Neos tutorial in another video because this one's already at 18 minutes. And I don't really want to make my videos super long. I hate that like those get blurry when my camera tries to focus on my deck. I'm actually going to go ahead and power shuffle here that way. And we get a nice draw. And I'm actually, again, this one is going to be shooting for Nebula Neos. Because those are kind of like our 3 big boss monsters. And again, I like this deck going first. No, you're not always going to win die roll and go first. So if you're seeing that you're playing and you're losing die roll a lot, maybe side out. Let me just make sure those are all going the right direction. Okay. I thought that Avion was like upside down. All right. So like I said, we're going to go for Nebula Neos. All right. First, let's see if we can. Yes, we can. Very simple. A hero lives. A hero lives will grab us a Stratos. Stratos grabs a Spirit. For people who are playing against this deck, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the truth. Be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. Don't Ash a Hero Lives. You might be thinking, well, if I Ash a Hero Lives, I might potentially shut down my opponent. Right, you might, okay? With this hand, specifically, you would have shut me down if you ashed this. However, if I had shuffle or e-call, that changes his hand completely. So your ash is now wasted. If you're playing against us, don't ash this. Ash engage. Because the way that this deck works, more often than not, we're going to be getting into engage. So I'm going to go cross into him. I'm going to use his effect to grab the EN shuffle. I'm just being honest with you. That's what you want to ash. So then I'm going to activate it. I'm going to send Grand Mole and Dark Panther. And if I want to be an extra dick, I can get out Aqua Dolphin. I'm going to get my Poly. I'm going to get my search off of... Wait, no, I lied. I'm sorry, I'm dumb. I sent Grand Mole from hand. I'm going to summon Dark Panther, not Aqua Dolphin. Because I have to send Shadowbus. Sorry, I was talking and not paying attention. Okay, so I get the Poly. I'm going to use her effect to grab a follow-up play, Spirit of Neos, which is usually what you should be grabbing for at that point. Basically, here's the way this deck works. If you haven't opened up with Shadow Mist, you want to get to Shadow Mist. Okay. If you have a way to dump her, of course. Okay, after that, you want to get to Liquid. If you have a way to these two, then you want to get to Spirit. So usually, I mean, this is my third hand here I'm showing you. It isn't very hard to get there. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go Spirit, tag back in the deck, get out into Neos. We're going to actually use Crosskeeper's effect. Oh, wait, no, I already did. My bad. I forgot I used it earlier on. I'm going to go Poly between Liquid and Neos. Get out into the Flame Wingman. I'm going to go Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, and Chainlink 3. One of the reasons that I found this out too, one of the reasons that you go Crosskeeper is he banishes himself for cost. So that way, if you're doing it in this chain sequentially, he'll get banished, and then he can't potentially get DD crowed, okay? I found this out the other day. I did Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Chainlink 3. I think it was like the way that it worked out. He banned... Wait, maybe I'm wrong. I have to double check that ruling, but I'm pretty sure if he goes last in chain, he banishes, and then your opponent like can't respond to it. Maybe I'm wrong. I want to look that one up, but I'm pretty sure that he can't be DD crowed. Anyway, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Chainlink 3. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw 1, 2. I'm going to place this back into my deck. I'm going to draw 2 more off of Liquid. I'm going to discard Cross, and then I'm going to search the trap. So this is 3 games in a row. 3 shuffled up. You know, I shuffled pretty decently. We're seeing this same setup. It's very consistent. We're not running hand traps. I'm just going to be flat out honest with you. I hate hand traps. And this deck wants to go first, so you don't really need them. Is it perfect? Nope, not by any means. It's really resource intensive, and it's kind of, you're basically playing the long game with this deck. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to wait for our opponent to play a bunch of cards, or our opponent to play something that we want to negate. We flip over favorite. We send Dark Panther, Grand Mole, and Neos back to deck. Once they get there, we're going to summon out our man, our boy, Nebula Neos. On summon, he's going to do 2 things. First thing, he's going to negate a card. Okay? Oh, I lied. I think he draws first. Let me double check. Yep, you draw cards equal to the number of cards your opponent controls. So like I said, you want to wait until your opponent has a good stack going on their field. They've got maybe 3, 4 monsters, maybe an active spell or 2. And then you summon him out. And then you draw. And then you either negate one of their cards or you can negate him. But I would actually advise not to negate him. negate one of your opponent's cards, and then let him shuffle himself back. Because look at this hand. Okay, you already have this in hand. You can summon him out and get another Surge piece. You can go Neos Fusion, Instant Contact, Eon Shuffle, Miracle Fusion, all next turn. And you're still getting draws off of him. So let's say, for example, I summon him out and your opponent has 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. So even though we have some of those already in hand, we're going to add those 4 cards to our hand. Our opponent is not going to be able to play through these. If we're negating something, who knows, maybe their deck is better than ours, maybe they can play through. But odds are, if we're getting 8 cards, and know something right now, if your opponent ashes Neos Fusion, you can activate a second one. It's not hard once per turn, it's not soft once per turn. But once this card goes off, you can't special summon the rest of the turn. Know that. So I'm going to play this out. I'm going to send these 4 back to deck. We're going to play this out. I bumped my camera. We're going to pretend that my opponent destroys, and again, I always go worst case scenario. They blow my board up. And I'm like, okay, what can I do? They attack me, I go Spirit of Neos. Spirit goes out, and I think to myself, I would probably get an engage here. Just because that's the only card that I have in hand the only card that I don't have in hand that can be searched. I'm going to add that to my hand. After I do so, I'm going to draw, take my turn. Okay. So if you guys have been paying attention, you know what we're going to do. We're going to go Miracle Fusion into this, Instant Contact into this, Neos Fusion into this. Flip him to attack mode if you have to. It's GG. If your opponent can play through that, again, congratulations. What I would do is, just in case, and that's another thing, sometimes when I play online, I don't pay attention. Sometimes when I play in person, I pay a little bit more attention to the game state and what's going on because I'm more invested in it. If I'm playing online, I might not be giving a shit. But I would maybe flip him out into Neos, and then what you could do is if he gets destroyed, summon out Stratos, get a Spirit, you've got follow-up play. So guys, stay tuned for an armed Neos combo video. I'm going to show you some things that we can do with armed Neos. I'm going to show you how I kind of side my deck. I'm going to show you kind of what my armed Neos build is going to look like, and then we'll go from there, guys. Peace out.